What's up, everybody? Ben Raza here for Odd Shopper, bringing you my best bet of the day. It is Monday, October 10th in the sports world. A little Monday night football action tonight. We got college football all week, but not just yet. We're going to focus on the NFL, put a bow on this week 5. If you're just checking us out, if you've just discovered Odd Shopper, welcome aboard. Welcome to our channel. Check out what we've got going on, all things betting. I hope you guys stick around. If you want to support us, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Join this community. Over 25,000 people are coming here daily. Check out what we've got going on, and we want you as part of that team. We're looking for a rebound. Last time I saw you guys was Saturday, my favorite day of the week because it's college football. But I have had a blind spot all year with the Air Force Falcons, and I think that was the final one. Can't keep betting this team. Unfortunately, they're just not as good as I thought they were. They were upset again by Utah State. So we want to get things clean slate. Monday, new week, new opportunity. And in addition to that, you see it on the screen. DraftKings Sportsbook, if you haven't been over there, check out what they got going on. Bet 5 to win 200 as a new user. Use the link in the description of this video. What that means, if you sign up and deposit, bet $5 on any money line. And if that team wins, $200 in free bets. It's that simple. Find a heavy favorite. Bet them on the money line and get your money. That is what we're doing. Where are we going tonight? Dug into the props. I think the side is pretty fair. Didn't really have a lean. I went to kind of, I'm not going to say an under the radar prop, but certainly not a focal point of these teams. But that doesn't mean there isn't value. And in fact, I think there is major value here. And I have a feeling 21.5 will be gone by kickoff. It's already starting to take money. Isaiah Pacheco, one of the many skill position players that the Chiefs have. This guy, they can't keep him off the field. And I think we're going to see it again tonight, over 21.5 rushing yards. So let's get into the teams. Let's get into Pacheco and talk about why we're going over in this spot. We've got the 1-3 Las Vegas Raiders. They're going into Arrowhead, take on the Chiefs. Chiefs are 3-1. They lost the Colts somehow. They're still the class, of the AFC, a very, very strong team. It's going to be tough to beat. Particularly in Arrowhead. That's why they're north of a touchdown favorite. It's been bumping around between 7 and 7.5 all morning, so we'll see where that goes. That feels about right to me. Chiefs are the better team, but you got a divisional opponent. They always play them tough. I didn't really want to take a side, but now let's start drilling down into what's going on in the Chiefs' backfield. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire is still the man. You see it there, over 49.5 rushing yards. He's the guy getting the majority of snaps. Behind him, you've got McKinnon, who's usually more of kind of a gadgety pass catcher, and now Pacheco, who is starting to take over some of the carry work. In fact, in the last game, he really did that. So in the last game, McKinnon dropped to just 18 snaps, and Pacheco was up to 17. So they were basically on the field the same amount of time, but the difference is Pacheco had 11 carries in that game. So when he was on the field, he was quite busy. 11 for 63, 5.7 yards per carry against Tampa Bay. And he's just been awesome all year. He's got 28 carries on the year for 140 yards. He has 0 receptions. So when he is on the field, we don't have to really worry about, all right, well, maybe they divvy up some of his touches as, dump off screens, things of that nature. No, when he's out there, they're giving him the ball in the backfield and he's running very, very effectively. So when I just look at this guy, it seems like he's trending upward. When you look at the snaps on the year, I'll be honest, it's a weird kind of dovetail. He had a lot of carries in week 1. Kind of quiet in week 2 and 3, and then a lot of carries in week 4 against Tampa. But all the reports, everything everyone's been talking about is this guy has made an immediate impact. He's a 7th round pick, probably unexpected, but he's just been absolutely fantastic. And it seems kind of crazy to think that they're not going to give him those opportunities coming off a really effective game against Tampa. So now we look at what Vegas is doing. Honestly, nothing really stood out. They're fine against the run. But Kansas City, the way they play, they stress opponents so much in the passing game. It really does open up some of these lanes. And Pacheco, again, has just been absolutely awesome when he's getting the touches. And the other thing, when I saw the 11 carries, they were in full control of that game. And I was a little worried, like maybe they gave him 8 carries on the final drive, and that's how he got there. That was not the case. He had 6 carries in the first half against Tampa. So he was getting real work, meaningful touches. And I have a feeling we see that here. So let's dive into this line. Over 21.5. The reason I like this, even though we're paying a little juice, you kind of have multiple outs. If he gets 8-10 carries, I mean, he's barring an outlier performance, he's going to breeze over this. If he doesn't, say his workload drops back to kind of week 2 or 3, and he gets 3 to 5 carries, that is far from ideal. He could still absolutely get here, though. All it takes is a couple good chunk runs, and he's shown the ability to do that. So I kind of like how we have the volume aspect to bail us out or the efficiency aspect with a guy like Pacheco. So this is an under the radar type play. That's what the prop world provides for us. Some of these kind of lesser known names, and we can buy low and take advantage. And this is a guy that I am buying on tonight over 21.5. Again, just want to thank everyone.
Yeah, go ahead, man. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Stokastic.com NFL Showdown Strategy Show today. Raiders, Kansas City Chiefs. We're breaking it all down. 9 a.m. in the morning. Dave Loughran joining me, Matt Gajewski, and as always, Alex Brown at AlexBrown96. Follow Matt at Matt_Gajewski, me at Laffy_D. Boys, how we doing? Alex, I'll go to you first, man. How we doing today?
Doing great. I didn't set up absolutely none last night. I waited at the airport. You'd love this. I flew in from Chicago, landed at about 11, waited on my wife and kids to get in at 6 o'clock. I slept at the airport. And I'm on the show, ready to go.
Oh, look at you, man. Yeah. Pure dedication. Determined. I love it.
Locked in.
I love it. Matt, what's up, man?
Not too much, man. Trying to dig into some of the injuries. Looking forward to this AFC West showdown we have tonight. It should be a good game.
Mm-hmm. Can we now can we all agree? And listen, I have nothing wrong. I have nothing against Tom Brady, AB, but can we now agree that a lot of people are like, you're Brady fans, you're Bucks for Patriots fans back in the day. They probably have different opinions now. Yeah. But can we not agree that this guy gets calls that no one else would ever get? Did you guys see that? Did you see the roughing the passer call? I mean, that yes. You were a defensive end. As a defensive end, how do you not look at that call and go, you can't play football that way? In Correct. A one possession game.
You cannot. That play right there causes you to lose the game. Like the nullifying that play and then giving them 15 yards on top of it, it causes you to lose the game. Like you cannot have that. How else do you want me to tackle it? But I will say in every sport, there is that superstar, that GOAT, if you will. They always get the calls. Jordan got phantom calls all the time.
Yeah, but in a spot like that, I get you get that first, second quarter or something, Matt, but fourth quarter, and AB's right, of course. Yeah, guys get those calls. But if you're a ref, if you're an official making it as blatant and as obvious as it is, it's just not good for the game either.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the easiest solution to this is your refs on the field are just essentially glorified bodyguards, and everybody makes calls from afar. You can have the instant replays done immediately. You don't miss any calls in the game. If a ref on the field does, you have New York or wherever the home office is calling in the correct call. And I think that would solve everything. And then you just have the on-field refs stop fights and stuff like that. Because otherwise it's really honestly kind of aggravating to watch stuff like that. Like it makes the game a lot less fun and enjoyable, not just if you're like a fan on the other side, but I have no rooting interest in that game. I just don't want to see that. It's kind of unbearable.
So when something different goes on in football, people want to change football. Baseball, like a strike is a strike. There shouldn't be a gray area. There's an umpire out there, and I forget his name right now, but we all know he's terrible, and he still has a job. And he calls ball outside, 2 balls
Angel
outside, and he'll ring
Rodriguez?
them up. That's him, yes. And he rings them up, and it's like, what are we doing? Like, but with baseball, it's okay. Baseball, it's okay to throw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball inside at a guy. But football comes and it's like, oh, we need to change this right here. It's like, oh, I don't think we need to change anything. Like, that stuff just happens, I think. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, it might be Angel Hernandez or something.
That's
I don't know.
him.
It's one of those.
Absolutely.
I think
That's
it's
him.
Angel
Angel
Hernandez.
Hernandez.
Yeah. But he's the one that people always are posting videos of for sure. But you're right, though. There's a lot of people out there that say umps should go to like basically robots, and or baseball.
Get it right. I just want it right,
Yeah.
I don't want to have to adjust. The baseball players truly only get one less at bat because they have to figure out where the umpire's calling that day. And then they'll adjust to it, and then they get a good at bat. It's weird.
Yeah, exactly. I tell you what, man, I think you should just have someone up top that immediately can review every play into the head of an official and just be like, no, that's a no. So while they're discussing it, it should come down immediately. That's no call. Like on that Brady one, how hard would it have been to say that's not a call? His head didn't hit the ground. He didn't thrash into the ground. He just wrapped him up.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I said otherwise. That's exactly what I was trying to advocate for.
Okay,
That's exactly what I thought you were talking about, man. And I'm like, no, that takes away all the power from the guys on the field. They have zero power then.
Yeah, why should they have any though? They get things wrong.
Good.
All they should do is stop fights.
Because but that's the human element, right? That's what we talk about in other sports. There's the human element that, people make mistakes and people get stuff wrong sometimes. So, I mean, we just kind of deal with it in other sports, but with football, we got to get it right. We can't have this gray area. So, maybe I'm a little biased to football.
I think they should do it in every sport. Like,
yeah, if you could do it seamlessly without any hiccups, without it taking too long, then I would be advocating for that for every sport for sure.
Why is that guy's opinion better or like more powerful than the guy on the field's opinion?
Because he can see it from a quick couple angles real fast. So while they're deliberating, he's got this, and this. Like, we see things on TV that the refs are. I'm seeing side judges from 30 yards down calling holding calls in the backfield. Like, how does that work?
They're assigned to watch certain positions.
Right, for sure.
So,
but yeah, I don't know. You played, so I get where you're coming from, but there are certain spots where you just kind of go.
I disagree with the Brady thing for everybody watching. I totally disagree with that. I think that was a no call. That was a good sack, and there should be something done. He should be fired. But as far as changing the rules, not yet.
What AB told us before the show that you don't know about is he's going to Tom Brady's 45th birthday party next week. So he's not gonna.
I'm not throwing my guy under the bus.
All right, let's get into it. By the way, my voice might be a little messed up. I get sick once a year, usually, not including COVID season or the whatever, but once a year when the seasons start changing up here in the Northeast. And it hit me last night. Brutal. Felt like I was swallowing knives trying to swallow last night. Got no sleep, but we're here. We're going to make it work. And we got a showdown game to talk about. So happy to have you guys with us as always. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening in podcast form, leave a rating and a review if you like this, preferably a nice one. Helps us a lot. Subscribe to the podcast, all that good stuff. Let's get into it. Matt, we'll kick it off with the Raiders here. 7.5 point dogs. Big to high total here, 52 points. This is one of these spots where like 2 years ago, Raiders came in. I'm sure you remember, poured a ton of points on Kansas City, got a double-digit victory. Last year between these two teams, Kansas City just came in and blew their doors off in back-to-back games. Looking at it now, it was 41-14 Kansas City and then 48-9 Kansas City in these two spots. But both of them do have some offensive firepower. It is a 7.5 point spread. Let's kick it off with the top dogs in the passing game for the Raiders now that you got Hunter Renfrow back.
Yeah, this might be the healthiest they've been really since week one, getting back Renfrow. But Devontae Adams is there. I think he's where you start every single conversation with this team because of how good he is. He has been a little bit up and down comparatively to his time in Green Bay, but he still is the most involved weapon on offense for this team at this point. The issue for me comes down to pricing with him. It is a slate where you have to navigate, all right, do I want to play Mahomes, Kelsey, Derek Carr? And the salary is pretty tight today, so you can't play them all. When I initially ran optimals this morning, you weren't getting Devontae Adams in any optimals. So it seems to me that right away, they're prioritizing the QBs and some of the other expensive pass catchers like Kelsey. So to me, love Adams. There's not really any holes to poke in his game. It comes down to the alternatives. Would you rather play Adams or would you rather play some of the other guys on this slate? And right now, my early inclination is getting to Kelsey, getting to Mahomes and some of the other guys. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'll throw it to AB because you're not getting a huge discount here either. Adams is the highest priced player, highest priced skill player. So outside of Patrick Mahomes, it's Devontae Adams. You're getting about $1,000 drop down to Kelsey. And then you've got, this is what makes this game weird, I guess, AB, and we can touch on this, but we'll hit on Adams too, is there's so many ways I hate when Kansas, in a way I love and I hate when Kansas City's on a primetime slate, on a showdown slate. There's 1,000 different ways that Mahomes can get the football in the end zone.
There is. There really is. And just with, I'm going to go back to Devontae right quick. Hunter Renfrow coming back. Like Matt said, he's been up and down all season. And with Hunter coming back, that's going to take some of that production from him. I think that'll take some targets away from him. I think Carr being comfortable with Hunter Renfrow, he's not like he's a new guy coming in. He's an old guy. How do you beat this team? I think that's how you have to kind of think about it. How do you beat Kansas City is to keep Mahomes on the bench. You either run the ball, you got a lot of short passes, just keep that clock running, keep putting first downs together. So I do like Hunter Renfrow. And if I were to go away from Devontae, some of them I'll get Devontae, but the ones I don't, I will definitely go to Renfrow because I think I'm not sure what his price is right now, but okay, he's at 87. Nope, for the captain spot. He's 87.
Renfrow. Yeah, Renfrow in utility. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
He's 58 in the utility, so I like him. I like him today. I think he'll play a big part in this. But with Mahomes, you're absolutely right. Like they can come out and they can just run Edwards-Helaire like the whole dang game, and he gets 2 touchdowns, has 8 receptions and 80 yards rushing. Like it's crazy that, or it could be McCole or Harmon that has 2 bombs like what Davis did yesterday for Buffalo, and then you're sitting on Diggs and you're like, what the hell? Like, guys, like let me get more of that. So yeah, I can definitely see it going a lot of different ways. The Kansas City defense, though, very opportunistic. So I'm a little interested in that, a little bit, but we'll get to that.
That defenses look pretty good. They have, no doubt. I mean, I guess, Matt, the question here is, well, let's hit on the pass catchers first, because then I want to get into Jacobs. Really interesting spot, I think, for Jacobs, because he's got, he's coming off probably the best game of his career against the Denver Broncos. But then he's facing a Kansas City team that has done a really good job of stopping the run. Outside of Adams, though, you have Renfrow, who is back. So then, a guy like Mac Hollins, who had that huge blow-up week that if you didn't have him, you weren't winning tournaments. And then if coming off a 5 target week, now that Renfro's back, that likely changes. And then Darren Waller, who's just been, more missed than hit, to put it lightly, more missed than hit this season, has 1 strong game against Arizona, no great games this season. And quite frankly, Adams only has 1 really good game all year too.
Yeah, Waller's kind of been a ghost this year. He's been terrible if you've been playing him in DFS. I think the main point for him is just leverage. So anytime you're going to play a guy who's been bad, it's basically just, all right, I'm going to bet more or less on Devontae Adams failing and the production going elsewhere. But now you also have to make that bet with Renfrow, which AD mentioned. They're getting healthier at pass catcher, which I do think hurts Waller himself. But overall for this team, you mentioned Josh Jacobs. He's a guy I want to stop on a little bit here because I do think there's some negative bias with him around the industry. And, for good reason. He's kind of been underachieving to this point in his career. They didn't pick up his 5th-year option. He was drafted in the first round in the John Gruden era. But since the start of this year, he's played extremely efficient football. They're using him on every down. The pass game role is what I really want to highlight here. 14 targets this year. He's around a 10% target share, which is pretty good for a running back. And he's not really being spelled by anyone else on the field. So Josh Jacobs right away, I think, is a player who is improving, and the projections maybe haven't quite accounted for this role change he's received this year. He's a player I do like, even though the tools aren't really in love with him behind the scenes. If you look at just all the pass catchers right now, Hunter Renfrow by far has the highest leverage score. So just in terms of the offense, I'll be playing a lot of Renfrow, and then I'm strongly considering Jacobs because of the role change.
Yeah. Jacobs is one of these players where you're right. People just hate. There's a big time negative bias against Josh Jacobs, but 89% of snaps last week, AB, 89% of snaps for Josh Jacobs. That's no small role. This is a guy who has now become 89% of snaps for a lead running back is as much, if not more, than any other running back in the league if he were to continue that, week over week, or even close to that.
No, for sure. I mean, I think Hunter Renfrow plays a part in this too. Like, yeah, he had the targets. They had 6 targets, I think last game, 5 or 6 the game before that.
5 the week before,
so,
yeah.
Like, yes, he has that right now, but you got another mouth to feed, if you will. Like, it's just, there's another mouth to feed out there, and somebody that Carr is very comfortable with, and Hunter Renfrow coming back. So I think that eats into some of his targets coming out. So I do like him. I think he is the running back, but I don't think you win this game. You're going to have to score points. You're going to have to score. They're going to have to throw the ball. If he's the guy out there on the field and he gets these 6 targets, then he has a chance. Now, you say you play 89% of the plays. You can't score points unless you're on the field. So that is a start. I think that's the first hurdle crossed. But then Hunter coming back, I think it hurts him a little bit.
What do you want to do with Darren Waller today, with Mac Hollins, who you mentioned Renfrow coming back as well? Like, are there any guys we haven't talked about yet in the passing game that you want to get to?
I've been trying to trade Waller for 3 weeks now off my fantasy team, and nobody's biting. So
yeah, I can't imagine they would.
I sat him down and played Higbee. And I don't think Higbee did anything, but my other guys did. So then I won this week. But geez, he's exactly what you say. He's been all year, and I don't know if this is the game. I mean, is he a mismatch? Sure. I don't think Kansas City has a safety that can do anything with him. I mean, hell, I don't think many teams have a safety or a corner that can do anything with him. I don't think they have a linebacker that can run with him, but they have to use him. Hunter Renfrow plays a part. Now you got another mouth to feed. He hasn't been being used a lot, and now you got somebody else out there to eat up more targets. So, yeah, this will be a high-scoring game, I think. He should get more. If they win, he'll be a big part of it, I think.
Speaking of Higbee, Matt, that Rams team, if they face a defense right now that has a pass rush, they can't hold up. They're in trouble.
Yeah, this offensive line is not good. Because of the decisions John Gruden made. Like, I don't think they're going to be able to stop this pass rush. You look at the Chiefs defense, especially up front. I think they have a very good secondary too. They're kind of a little less known, but up front, they have awesome players, like just across the board. Frank Clark, Chris Jones, Karlaftis has been really good to start his rookie year. And they got him kind of late in the draft. So I like Kansas City. I do think there are going to be some struggles in protection for Las Vegas. And, maybe that lends itself to Renfrow too. He's going to be operating a lot underneath and in the slot. If Carr needs to get the ball out quickly, I think that can help him. Renfrow is by far my favorite player in this offense for DFS.
Is this a kicker game for you guys?
Oh, we got to defer to AB.
I think we do. AB kickers.
I really, honestly, this is probably the first time, but I don't think so. I think you'll be able to find guys that will outscore the kickers because of the amount of points that's going to be put up in this game. So, I mean, I don't see kickers. I see them going for it on fourth down, and they're really pushing it because they know you can't win. The Raiders, you're not going to beat Kansas City kicking field goals. It's not going to happen. Because when you do that, you're also saying that your defense is going to hold them. Not going to happen. So you got to score touchdowns. So no, I don't like the kickers. I think you can find low-owned guys. Guys are right around where the kickers are that are going to score more points just because of the volume that's going to be in this game offensively on both sides.
Anything else for either of you from the Raiders today that stands out?
Jones up front. Okay, Jones up front. Matt just hit on it. He's a big dude. Carr isn't a big dude, and he's in the middle. He's not like he's a edge rusher where Carr can step up into the pocket. He won't be able to step up into the pocket. I can see balls getting knocked down, a ball getting tipped, getting picked off. So I think he'll be a problem just because of the pressure right away in the middle of that offensive line. I think they got a Renfro. They're going to have to work outside a lot and quickly. And I think that just screams Hunter Renfro.
All right. Perfect. Matt, anything else here? You want to move on to the Chiefs side? We got a lot to break down with the Chiefs. It's never easy for these showdown slates.
Yeah, I'll keep it quick with just the ancillary pieces. We still have Mac Hollins projected to be the wide receiver 3 on the field. Now, his price is really high. He's basically priced up as if he's still in the same role without Hunter Renfro, but that's not the case, we know. So I think he's probably just a GPP leverage play or bust. But the only other guy I'll mention here is Foster Moreau. Could be making his return from injury today. The Raiders historically have played a decent amount of 12 personnel when Moreau has been healthy. Now, they haven't been able to do that because he's been out. It's also a new coaching staff, but we know from the time in New England, like they'll use 12 personnel out there. Moreau's only $800. He could be somebody that comes on the field and plays a fair amount of snaps and then takes away from, a Mac Hollins when they're running 11 personnel. So I'm kind of monitoring Moreau, seeing if he actually suits up tonight. He's somebody I have a little bit of interest in near the stone minimum.
We've seen him have those showdown performances before as well. It's happened. So, all right. Let's talk a little showdown or Stokastic Hall of Fame before we go over to the Chiefs. You guys know how it works. You want to get up here, inducted into the Hall of Fame. All you have to do is go to stokastic.com/avatar, download the avatar. And when you do that, use it at DraftKings, FanDuel, Yahoo, wherever it is you prefer, right? If you finish top 3 in a field of 5,000 or more, hit us up at Stokastic HOF, Hall of Fame, Stokastic Hall of Fame on Twitter. We'll get you up here. Not only you get up here and we'll brag for you and show off your winning lineups, but also free month of Stokastic Plus Platinum. Everything on the site, all of our tools, $120 value is yours. Just make sure to be rocking that avatar. Greg Ehrenberg, how about this? Our boy Greg. The NFL DFS edge is huge when Jake Hari is away on vacation. I don't know any of the players and didn't do anything other than build lineups using the projections we have. Listen, if that's not a ringing endorsement of the tools at Stokastic, I don't know what is. And you get 3 free days of Stokastic Plus NFL right now. If you just use the link in the description, Mike can put it in chat as well. 3 free days, no strings attached. I figure I'd get that out to you guys now. If you want the 3 free days of NFL, you'd get today. You'd also get Thursday night football, and you'd get tools for Sunday on top of that. Congrats, though, to Greg. Bob, nice little bink on MLB Showdown slate for a solid return on $10. Yeah, $10 into $1,100 is definitely a nice return. Congrats, Bob. And then T-Pack, I know it doesn't qualify for the free month because I split with 30 people, but still want to share this Showdown win. $45 in the 5,100. Huge. 28-24 forever. Finally hit. Hopefully first of many more to come. Peep the entry amount too. I watched this squad all week, looking to take some of this ammo in the Sunday for NFL. Shout out to Lavi. All right. Well, yeah, listen, hey, 20, I told you, it could be a quarter. It could be a dime. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much you're playing. As long as you're top 3 in a field of 5,000 or more. This is first out of 9,500, quarter into $100. So awesome ROI there. 2 more here. John, relatively small payout, but I beat a lot of other entries to get it done. Thank you. Hey, like I said, a win's a win. And then I can't pronounce your name, but thanks for all the advice. Special thanks to Matt Gajewski. He says you're a legend, Matt.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
$1,000 win right there. Tyler, yeah, I don't know. But congrats to you. You know who you are. And send me a better pronunciation because that one looks tough. Anyway, you guys have been formally inducted. If you've been here before, welcome back. Get your free month. Download the avatar at stokastic.com/avatars. All right, let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, AB. We've got Mahomes, and then you got Kelsey, you have Edwards-Helaire, you have Juju Smith-Schuster with the Q tag, you have Valdez-Scantling, you have Mecole Hardman. If you look at the target shares on these guys, they're starting to separate a little bit now. Like you have Kelsey around 25%, Juju at 19, Valdez-Scantling at 16.5, Edwards-Helaire at 10. Hardman's all the way down at 8.6 this year. Noah Gray gets in on the action a little bit with Jerick McKinnon and Sky Moore. There's always a possibility, though, that one of these guys is going to catch a touchdown.
Yes. Yes, there is. If I'm betting on one of them, it's going to be Kelsey. But Kelsey's going to get most of it. I think everything runs through him, whether that's short, whether that's getting the ball to that mid-range down the field. He's going to get a ton of targets. With Juju and Valdez-Scantling, it's totally different. He needs 8 targets. Scantling doesn't. Scantling needs 3. And he could be that guy that has 3 targets, 3 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown because he can run. So Juju isn't that guy anymore. He's not going to take one. He's not going to blow the top off the defense and go for 70. So just looking at, I guess, they're looking at their salaries. I mean, you're going to save $1,400 for going from Juju to Scantling. I'm not sure what the ownership is right now, but and then Juju has a questionable tag. I'm not sure if he always has it, but that is something to keep an eye on with him. And you still got Hardman. So Mecole, he can be that Scantling. He could be that guy. He can be the 3 targets, take one to the house, 2 receptions for, 90 yards and a touchdown. So they got some big playability out there, but the guy is Kelsey for sure.
Yeah, and the numbers bear that out. Look, Andy Reid said Smith-Schuster's hamstring tightened up at Saturday's practice. He had been a full participant at practice prior to that. Reid said he thinks he'll be fine. So we'll see where we go with that one, Matt. But even if you look at deep targets, Kelsey has targets with 20+ yards downfield. Kelsey has 5 on the season through 4 games. Hardman has 3. Valdez-Scantling has 3. Watson has 2. Sky Moore has 1. Even that's pretty tight. I thought MVS would be getting more opportunities downfield so far than he is.
So did I, because of his profile. This guy ran a 4.37 coming out of South Florida. And Mecole Hardman's been doing that a little bit more. He's also a burner too, but like Mecole has that gadgety type skill set too. So I think coming into the year, most people anticipated Mecole getting the Tyreek Hill sort of underneath gadgety usage and MVS stretching the field, which hasn't necessarily happened. Now, that doesn't mean it won't change. We don't know. But for DFS purposes, I agree with him and his take on Travis Kelce. I looked at our tools in the back end, and one interesting thing I saw, which I typically don't see here, I can't even remember the last time I saw it, was Kelce providing leverage in the captain spot and providing negative leverage in the utility. So overall, he does have a negative leverage score just total. But again, he does have some positive leverage in the captain. And he does appear to be one of these players where if you just go on the back end of Fantasy Cruncher and you run optimals, he's being jammed into lineups because the raw projection is still really high, even though there might be a slight negative leverage score with him. So I think to approach Kansas City, I might be playing a lot of Kelce captain tonight based on this, if he's going to go under-owned there.
That's surprising to me. Not that you're playing Kelce in the captain spot, but that Kelce is under-owned at the captain spot.
And way over-owned at utility.
Yeah, right. It's very strange. What's also interesting too about Mecole Hardman, Matt, is he's not getting a ton of opportunities, and they're going to be hard to come by in an offense like this. This could be a game where he ends up seeing 5 or 6. Who knows? But of his 12 targets on the season, 3 of them are deep balls and 3 of them are in the red zone. So half of them have been, pretty high value targets. He just needs to get targeted. And the last 2 games, he's got a combined 2 looks through 2 games. I still have interest in guys like Mecole Hardman. Anytime he's on one of these slates, we have him with a 4.3 leverage score. That's the 5th highest on this slate. He's one of those guys though, that could give you the 100-yard on 4 reception or 3 receptions and a touchdown type performance anytime he's on these night slates.
Yeah, he absolutely could. I think he's fine at his price. I am a little bit worried about him moving forward. We're seeing an ascending role from Sky Moore, and it's kind of been really slight and incremental week by week. And a lot of that's come at the expense of Mecole Hardman. And I just don't know how good Mecole Hardman is. Like, even going back to his college days, he played at Georgia. He came out in the 2019 draft. His final season there was in 2018. He wasn't even the leading receiver on his team in his final year. Riley Ridley was. So to me, it's like, I don't know how good Mecole is. He was drafted highly based on his athleticism. He's never put anything onto the field consistently outside of a couple flash plays. And now he's losing snaps to Sky Moore. So, of course, an attachment to Patrick Mahomes at this price should be considered. But on the back end, diving into the projections, I think this is the most fragile projection on the whole slate because of the potential role change.
Interesting. And I get that. I just think at low ownership, whenever, like you said, if you're tethered to Mahomes, whenever Mahomes is your quarterback, there's always that potential if you're getting around 50% of snaps. But yeah, no, you're not wrong. And who knows, maybe he's not good. AB, what are you doing outside of Kelsey with the Hardmans and the MVSs and the Sky Moores?
Taking a flyer on Sky Moore I don't think that's a bad. It's actually, I think, a really, really good one. Hardman, I'm kind of lukewarm on that one. It's the Scantling one that's kind of got me like, I don't know, because Scantling, if he's right around the same price as Renfro, so they're only about $500 apart. I think it's pretty set what Renfro is going to get. I think you can pretty much bank he's going to get 6-7 targets in this game, and if they're going to be trying to keep up with KC, Hunter Renfro is going to play a part in it. He's going to play a part. So I'd much rather go to him than Scantling, but understanding that Scantling doesn't need 6-7 targets. If he gets it, he's going to have a pretty good day. Scantling needs 3.
And there's also that possibility that Kansas City comes in and routes them like they did in each game last year too.
True. I mean, that's in the back of their mind. Now, those teams didn't have Devontae Adams. So Devontae is going to make their defense do something different.
Sure.
Which is going to open up stuff for Waller, for Renfro. Because if they don't, then, you'll just see Devontae Adams have 17 targets, 13 receptions, and $160. So they're going to have to do something different with him. So, and I think that'll open up a lot of stuff for the other guys. So, I mean, at that point, you got to look at Carden, because he should have a pretty productive day. And I don't think a lot of people be on him. The only reason you go away from Kelsey in that captain spot is to put Mahomes. Like, you're not going to go away from, it's one of those two that I think a lot of the ownership will have in that captain spot.
All right. So then, Matt, let me ask you in a way that'll help the audience out a little bit more here. By the way, 20 likes away from 100. We have 460 people watching. Take that single second, atone for your sins, and help us keep the lights on around here if you like this type of stuff. There's 20 people out there that are 20 people we can get there easy with 460 watching. But Matt, if we were to come kind of full circle here on the Chiefs passing game, it's more than just like, this guy's okay, this guy's okay. Obviously we like Kelsey, but because there's, and we will talk about some of these real tertiary options, but I want just the main ones here. Juju, I'll throw Hardman in the mix because of his price point. Valdez, Scantling, Kelsey. Is there any real preference that you have for these guys, or any ways that you want to play this, any different looking strategy for large field tournaments?
For large field tournaments, I'm going to take shots on all of them in the captain spot. The 2 favorites are going to be Juju and MVS, neither of whom are drawing really any significant ownership, especially in the captain spot. And their prices are nice. When you talk about a loaded slate up top with Mahomes and Carr and Kelsey and all the other Devontae Adams, the expensive options, this is also an avenue that could give you a chance to play maybe one more of them, because a lot of people will be captaining those players. They'll be captaining Mahomes and stuff. If you play like a Juju in the captain and he has a big game, you're also afforded the ability to maybe play another one of those studs. So that's one approach I'm certainly going to be taking tonight, is just stabs on the MVSs, the Jujus in captain, to try to gain some leverage. But as far as just playing like cash or low risk contests, I really do believe you're probably playing at least two of these three receivers in MVS, Juju, and Renfro because of their price. AB broke it down well if you're picking between one of them, but I think if you're playing low risk contests, small fields, you probably want at least two, because then you can still jam in some of the expensive studs, but you have a very good role and attachments to both offenses when you do take two of those three.
What about some shots on Watson?
He's tough. So I'm a little worried about Watson because of the ascendance of Sky Moore. The snaps for Watson, I think, are going to be pretty volatile here, but ultimately you're still seeing Sky Moore rotate on and off the field, and it's still really close between them. So I think you can still play some Watson. He's pretty cheap tonight as well. You just have to know this is a large field play. He's probably going to see about 10 snaps, maybe 5 to 10 snaps and routes. So you kind of need a decent big play because there's so many other potential high scores in the slate.
For sure. And I guess, AB, the reason I asked is because, and the reason Kansas City is such a pain in the ass in this respect, is because it's not like this is one of these teams where you have your top two receivers with a 90+% snap share every week, right?
Mhm.
Like a 90% route participation rate. This is, Juju Smith-Schuster is what, around 70% of snaps each week. MVS around 75. Last week was 70. Then you get around 50 for Hardman, 20 for Watson percent. Sky Moore played 28% last week, 13 the week before. Like, they do rotate enough to where if one of these guys does get those one or two targets downfield, you're going to wish you had them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that the Raiders are going to come in. They're coming in with the same mindset that Kansas City's coming in with. Kansas City know that everybody wants to stop Kelsey. They know that. So it's going to be the guys that win their one-on-ones when they're matched up one-on-one with a safety or with a corner. If those guys can win, when they get the ball, they can make a guy miss. Now, you got a really, really big play, and you could have it at really low ownership with a guy like that. So we haven't touched on him, but the guy's averaging 5 yards a carry, and that's Pacheco or Pacheco.
Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, like he hasn't. I don't think he scored a touchdown yet, but he had 11 carries last game. If he can get any more, he was 2,200 last week. He's doubled that now, so is a little getting out of that range of where I want to play him. But I wish he was like at 3,000 because I find him very interesting.
Yeah, let's talk real quick though, Matt. Noah Gray. You and I talked about him in that Chargers game. As hey, this guy, they'll find ways once in a while to get him balls near the end zone. He did not score that day, although he did have 3 targets. Last Sunday night, Noah Gray did score on, I believe it was a direct snap rush at the goal line. It was a direct snap goal line carry that he got in the end zone with. But really, your upside with a Noah Gray is like 7 to 8 fantasy points. Could that be valuable today, or are there just so many guys that could pop off at lower price points that we don't need to go to the bottom? Because I want to make sure we cover all of the potential cheap options before we get into the backfield here.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure if he's like the full bottom in terms of role. He's played more than Sky Moore. He's played more than Justin Watson. And there's a chance he starts to play more than a guy like Jerick McKinnon too, with Pacheco taking on an ascending role. So is he the safest guy down here? I mean, maybe. In last week's game, he played a ton of snaps, didn't run that many routes. He actually was run blocking a little bit more than he was on the field running routes. But overall, he's still playing a ton. And if you're going to be on the field with Patrick Mahomes at this really cheap price tag, he's only a little bit above the stone minimum, $600 to captain him. Not that you should do that, but he's very cheap. So he also makes everything work in your lineup. And he allows you even more salary flexibility than a guy like McKinnon, Sky Moore, or Justin Watson. So I think Gray's fine for those of you punting and just jamming in studs.
What about Jody Fortson? He's got 2 goal line targets, 2 touchdowns inside the 10-yard line through 4 games.
Yeah, he's fun. He's essentially like your Travis Kelce light. They use him a lot as a receiver. He's on the field certainly to run routes, but even he's playing. Last week he had 23 snaps, which is pretty solid. Now that they ran 80 snaps in the game, so he's still at about a quarter of them. But the role's clear for him. We've seen him used in the red zone a couple times. And Kansas City just uses a lot of 12 personnel in weird formations, which, to be honest, hurts the receivers a little bit, especially your Sky Moores and Justin Watsons. But you can throw flyers in these tight ends.
Andy Reid likes to do weird shit towards the goal line for sure.
Yes. Fortson, we are really going through everybody because I hadn't even looked at him.
Hey, he scored twice on the year, though. You know what I mean?
Out of 4 games. Out of 4 games, he scored twice. That's 50. That's a 50% shot, man. That's wow. That's pretty good. And what is his salary? 400?
Yeah, he's super cheap.
Man, that is interesting, right?
You only need one. You only
need one. That's it. And you're headed down the right track because it, like Matt said, he opens it up so you can get all studs moving forward there. So wow, if you can get a touchdown from one of those guys, you got to get the right guy. And then if you don't, it doesn't kill you, because he's only 400.
Right, because it's getting you everybody else. Yeah,
correct.
7 points from a Jody Fortson could definitely be enough, right? Like it's now look, it's a low probability play. That's why he's so cheap. But yeah, one for 10 and a touchdown like he had last week. Listen to this real quick. The opportunity, the targets inside the 10 this year. Kelce has 5, Edwards-Helaire has 3, Fortson has 3, Hardman has 2, McKinnon has 2, MVS has 1, Noah Gray has 1. That's 7 different guys that have at least 1 target inside the 10.
That's it. That's it. I'm playing him. It's done. It's done. I'm playing him because I'm looking at this, and the 2 games he scored a touchdown, they scored 40 points or more.
Right.
The last 2 times they played the Raiders, they scored 40 points.
They crushed this team. Yeah.
So I'm playing.
Let's go. Everybody. Jody Fortson time, baby. Let's go. When we build a lineup in a minute before we close the show out, you better believe Jody Fortson has to be one of your picks.
Yes.
All right, Matt, the backfield. AB already alluded to it a little bit. Pacheco and maybe the most unsustainable production in the world in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. The touchdowns seem like they're not going to continue. But he did see 21 attempts or 21 touches last game in that route. With 10-point game, it was not as close as the final score would indicate. What do you want to do with the backfield here for Kansas City? Very interesting spot.
It's still, right now, in my opinion, Jerick McKinnon, because of price. So we can talk about their roles. They're very specific. But for price on this slate, McKinnon does play a pivotal role in the pass game. Among these cheap options, I think he's the most consistent. So we've talked about them all except McKinnon at this point. If you look at Sky Moore, Justin Watson, Jody Fortson, Noah Gray, we know McKinnon's going to at least be on the field for a fair amount of plays. And generally, it's the third down work, the hurry up work. Pacheco's not a receiver. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he caught about 50 passes in his final year at LSU, but he has not been able to sustain that workload in the pros. And they continually find third down backs to play over him on third downs. So I still think it's Jerick McKinnon who you're getting to in low risk contests. If you're playing cash, he's probably in your lineup there. And then you can look to Pacheco and Edwards-Helaire for upside if you're playing larger field tournaments. I do agree with you that the touchdown scoring that Edwards-Helaire has seen is not sustainable, even on the Chiefs. Like naturally, you're just going to see Pacheco score some of these other guys with time. And you're starting to run the risk of, Pacheco might take over this job. He's running laps efficiency. So? I mean, probably not. They're probably going to use a timeshare regardless, but he's been more efficient than Edwards-Helaire on a small sample, but he looks great. Now, does that mean last week he played 17 snaps, Edwards-Helaire played 45. Does that mean they both trend closer like 30-30, or is it still like a 40-20 in favor of Edwards-Helaire? Because I don't see the timeshare going away. It just, to me, does it shift at all?
Yeah, 3 receiving touchdowns through 4 games seems something that's unlikely to continue for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but we'll see. AB, how do you want to approach this bet? And I do think Matt makes a great point with McKinnon. Not a lot of opportunities last game, but I don't think I'm not sure Pacheco sees that much work in the run game either if it's not out of hand. But who knows? Maybe this game gets out of hand too. And like you said, they drop another 40 spot on Las Vegas.
Because Fortson, that's why. Fortson's going to go off on them. That's
dude.
why.
If Fortson scores twice tonight, we're partying.
Oh, we're sitting pretty. That's for sure. I still like him. I do understand what Matt's saying about McKinnon. I think if KC is if they're behind or they're in a 2-minute, McKinnon comes on. He's the guy, right? To run a 2-minute hurry up type style. Once they're 2-3 scores up, I think it skips McKinnon at that point. It becomes Edwards-Helaire and Pacheco. So I think it becomes them. I don't think they get into many situations tonight where they have to, where they're going to be behind 1 and they're trying to hurry up and score. And then there's only really 2 times where you can be in a 2-minute type of that's before the half and then into the game. So I don't know. I don't see McKinnon being the guy. I would much rather get to Pacheco. I think a lot of people play Helaire because they think it is sustainable what he's doing. And the recency bias, they'll see it. I think a lot of people will play him, but I'm kind of a fan of Pacheco. I like how he runs too. He runs hard, man. He runs hard. I don't think he's scored yet.
He scored in week 1. Yeah.
Week 1 he scored. Okay. So at 40 points, yeah, I can see him sneaking one. Him and Fortson scoring just to get me off on the right track. Oh yeah. Perfect.
All right. Yeah. There's so many different ways that the Kansas City can score.
Yes.
There really are. And Mahomes could throw 5 touchdowns to 5 different players tonight, and it wouldn't be shocking. So we'll see. You guys have anything else on Kansas City that we didn't talk about yet? Kicker, defense, any other guys that might pop up as in the end zone at some point, Matt?
I want to ask AB what he thinks about the backup kicker in Kansas City. Are we going to him?
I think he'll have a lot of opportunities as far as kicking extra points, but I don't think he's gonna help you in the sense of winning the slate. I don't think it's gonna be the Ravens game like we just saw over the weekend where you got guys just punching 50-yard field goals. No, I think Kansas City is gonna score a lot of points, but they're gonna finish those. They're not gonna end up in the red zone and not getting in the end zone. So no, I don't like him, but I guess you can take a couple shots at him. Hell, I'm taking shots at Fortson. So yeah, you can take some shots at the kicker.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It is true. I mean, he had 12 points last week with 2 field goals, but 5 extra points. So yeah, the extra points will add up quickly. But yeah, this doesn't feel like the best game for field goals. Who knows though? We've seen weirder stuff before. I mean, that
you win them, right?
Now this is way different than Colts Broncos, but to see the winning lineup in that the winning Millie lineup in that Colts Broncos game was crazy.
It was beautiful. It was so nice. Oh man, it was great.
Dude, it's happened now twice in the past 2 weeks.
Yes.
That the Optimals have had both kickers. I think this Broncos one had both defenses too.
Both kickers, both defenses. You're pretty much, when you made that lineup, you pretty much just was like, whatever. I'm gonna lose this. I'm gonna lose this 9 bucks or whatever.
And it's amazing that won. But hey, that's some of the crazy. You have to do crazy shit like that sometimes, and we've seen it pay off. It's just very difficult to do that if you're hand building, because your brain doesn't want to allow you to make a lineup like that. You know what I mean?
Correct.
You look at that and you go, it just can't be right.
Right.
And then it wins. All right, let's build a lineup, fellas. Before we do though, shout out to our sponsor, Prize Picks. No reason that you shouldn't be at Prize Picks right now. One reason, very simply, they have $100 first match deposit bonus. The other reason, outside of it actually being a great place to play, especially for those of you who are in non-betting states, non-legal betting states, is you get a free month of Stokastic Plus Platinum. Everything, all of our tools. We don't, not Fantasy Crunch, you can get that add-on, but all of our tools for every single sport, entirely free when you sign up using the link in the description or the one that Mike can throw into the chat right now, just by signing up and depositing on Prize Picks. Huge, right? You're getting up to $100 first match deposit bonus. You're getting a free month of Stokastic Plus Platinum. Come on. It's the best offer you're going to find out there, hands down. Probably better than any of the sportsbook offers that were out there as well. But it's, of course, it's not just that. It's not just like, oh, I got to do it for the free month or to get the $100. It's a good site as well. You're just picking player props, no juice on either side. You're building lineups with them, taking the over or the under, whether it's football, basketball, hockey, MMA, college football. You can mix them in. If you want to do a 5-player or a 5-prop lineup where you 10x your entry, if you win, you could do what like Gajewski knows a lot of different sports. You could do 2 for college. You could do 2 for NFL. You could do 1 for UFC, put them all into the same lineup, which makes it a whole lot of fun. You could do 5 for NFL. It doesn't matter. You can mix it up however you want. And unlike a traditional book with traditional parlay, where if you hit 4 of 5, you don't win anything. If you hit 4 or 5 at Prize Picks, you're still 2xing. If you hit 3 of 5, you're still making money back. That's a huge way to sustain your bankroll and win a lot of money. So take advantage of it. Link in the description for those of you watching after the fact. For those of you live, link is in the chat right now. PrizePicks.com. Get over there. Get your free month of Stokastic Plus Platinum. Get your $100 first match deposit bonus and start winning some money on top of it. All right. I'll go to you first, Matt, in the captain spot. What format do we want to do here?
I like the single entry, like 25K entries that we've been doing.
Yeah. Okay. So the $50, it was $50 entry, 60K prize pool was the one we've been doing. I like that. You good with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Lead us off with a captain.
All right. I'm going to go based on our tools. They're telling us Travis Kelce's giving us leverage in the captain spot. Anytime we can take maybe the best tight end in football, maybe there's a conversation with him and Mark Andrews. We can play him in the captain and we can get positive leverage. I think we got to do it.
I think you're right. Hey, you said this at the beginning of the show. Kelce going to be a lot of your captain spots. We would be remiss to not include him here. So let's go Kelce captain. AB, first flex spot.
Let's go ahead and do it, man. Let's go ahead and give you guys a lot of money to play with.
Here it is.
Let's lock in Fortson right
Jody
here.
Fortson. Let's go. All right. 83.50 remaining for the final 5. We're already getting a little weird with Fortson, which I like. All right. So we have Kelce captain. We have Fortson.
Mm-hmm.
How easy would it be to go Mahomes and Adams? Do you guys think?
It could be kind of tough, but let's try it.
You want to try it? Let's just see. That gives us
5,000.
Yeah. If we plug both of them in, and then you guys can close this out. So let's see what we can do here.
Oh, it's easy. You could play a kicker, a defense, or like a Renfro.
Okay. So
yes.
AB
Matt,
loves Renfro. We play Renfro, right?
You want to go?
I do. I like Renfro, but if I'm playing Renfro, I don't know if I would play Adams and Renfro in the same one. You think?
Oh, that's true.
All right. Well, let's try this then. Let's pull Adams. Let's keep Mahomes, and let's put Renfro in and see what happens. And then we have 78 per player remaining. So
we
that gives us
probably play Derek Carr if we want.
Yeah,
you could get a kicker and a defense easily.
I'm kind of interested in that. Will it work with Carr?
Yeah, you can play a kicker or a defense.
Yeah, easily.
Then you got 5,400 left.
Or you could play
go
Hardman.
kicker, or you could go with another pass catcher for Kansas City.
MVS.
Yeah.
Scantling. Yep.
Yeah. You could go MVS. You could go Hardman. You could get weird if you wanted to. If this is a large field tournament, you could play a Sky Moore or something and leave a lot on the table. So I kind of like this.
I like it too.
So Kelce, Fortson, Mahomes, Renfro, Carr, MVS, 200 left on the table. Not bad. There's a lot we can do with this. And that's with Kelce at captain.
Yes.
I like it a lot.
This is going to be good.
Cool. AB's hyped on Fortson right now.
I'm hyped right now. I'm hyped. It's 10 a.m. I'm hyped.
Matt, what do you got coming up throughout the day? Anything over on the Odd Shopper channel?
Not on the Odd Shopper channel today, but I am on Live Before Lock tonight. So we'll get all these tools updated, go through everything. And then college football weekday games start. Wednesday games, Thursday games, Friday games. We're going to have coverage for all of that on the Odd Shopper channel, DFS as well on the regular Stokastic channel. But weekday college football is here, and we're not far away from Tuesday action. So get ready. We're going to have football 7 days a week.
All right. AB is at Alex Brown 96 on Twitter. What's your Instagram too? I always forget it. It's not the same.
96 A Brown.
96 A Brown. I'm at Loughran _ D, LOUGHY _ D. Shout
It's
out
got
to
the
Mike.
blue check, Lafayette. You know you can't make it's got the blue check.
Yours does?
Oh yeah. Come on.
What? So
Mine
do I.
doesn't.
So do
I'm
I.
just saying. I'm
So do
just
I got no one trying to impersonate me, though. Let's be real. Anyway, we'll see you guys back here for the next one. We got no baseball today, right? Everything starts back up tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yeah,
So-
tomorrow.
We'll see you later today. Deeper Dive, Live Before Lock. Peace. Can't miss.